So last time, actually, di ba, we started with measurement, no? Again, our objectives for this lesson, we have first identify the measurements in chemistry, apply the rules for significant figures in calculations, and lastly, differentiate precision and accuracy. So these are our topics, the SI units. I guess we are done with the SI units. We are now sa scientific notations. After the scientific notations, we will have the significant figures, and lastly, we have accuracy and precision. So I guess we started discussing this. Remember, in chemistry, units are very important. The numerical values, numerical data that we obtain in our investigation and experiment will be meaningless without these units. So this is very important for you to know. So again, take note of our units for the base quantities that we measure in chemistry. And aside from that, we use prefixes. Ginagamit natin ito in our SI units, nilalagay siya sa unahan, and please do not forget the meanings of these prefixes. So ito yung mini-measure natin sa chemistry, mass, volume, density, temperature, and time. So na-discuss na natin ito. I guess we ended our discussion here sa density. So do not forget how when you say density, it measures whether your substance is heavy or not, or will it float in water or not also. So our discussion now will be in temperature. So we have temperature scales class, tatlo itong ginagamit natin. The degrees Fahrenheit, degrees Celsius, and also the Kelvin. So when you say degrees Fahrenheit, this is the most commonly used scale in the United States outside the laboratory. And we have examples here, like when you say normal freezing point of water, that's 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Ang alam kasi natin mostly is the Celsius na grade. Like when you say freezing point of water, we know that it freezes at 0 degrees Celsius. But again, in the US, they use the degrees Fahrenheit. So when you say freezing point of water, it's 32 degrees Fahrenheit. And then we have here the boiling point of water, that's 212 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's for the degrees Fahrenheit. Now how about the Celsius scale? This is also known as the centigrade scale. Isa lang yan sila class, the centigrade scale. And ito yung pinaka-common na ginagamit natin sa Philippines. So that is why when you are asked, what is the freezing point of water? That is 0 degrees Celsius, while it boils at 100 degrees Celsius. So those are the two scales. However, if you are asked what is the SI unit for temperature, it's always the Kelvin. So do not forget, walang degrees ang Kelvin. So purely K lang talaga class ang unit niyan. Hindi katulad ni Fahrenheit. We have here degrees Fahrenheit. We also have degrees Celsius. Again, sa Kelvin, walang degrees class. Automatic, it's K. K for Kelvin. Now, why is it considered as the SI unit or the internationally accepted unit for temperature? The reason is, this is the absolute temperature scale, which means ang zero niya, zero talaga. Ang pinakamababa na temperature na makukuha mo pag Kelvin ang ginamit mo is 0. Okay, that is why it is called absolute temperature scale. Hindi kagaya ni degrees Celsius na pwede pa tayong negative 10 degrees Celsius. There are vaccines na kailangan yung kanyang storage is again negative degrees Celsius. So hindi talaga lowest yung 0 pagdating kay degrees Celsius and degrees Fahrenheit. Lowest lang siya pagdating kay Kelvin. That is why it is called absolute temperature scale, and it is considered as the internationally accepted unit for temperature. Okay, so this is how the thermometer of the 3 scales look like. We have the first one, the Kelvin, the Celsius, and the Fahrenheit. Actually, they have the same look in terms of the thermometer, but the graduation is not the same. So as you can see, water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Take note on top. And then that is equivalent to 373 Kelvin. For degrees Fahrenheit, that's 212. So they have different numerical values, but again, they are different pod na temperature scale. Pero parehas sila na nag-measure og temperature. So take note of this also. The size of a degree on the Fahrenheit scale is only 100 over 180. If we reduce this one to its lowest term, that is 5 over 9 of a degree on the Celsius scale. So yan yung difference ng kanilang graduation. So di ba alam niyo naman yung mukha ng thermometer like this one, meron yan siyang guhit-guhit dyan. That will indicate class the graduation. So kung i-compare daw natin ang size ng mga guhit sa Fahrenheit and Celsius scale, the Fahrenheit scale is only 5 over 9. Yan yung size niya of a degree. So ang isang degree ng Celsius is actually 5 over 9 lang ng Fahrenheit. So that is why when we look at the equation for the conversion, we have here degrees Celsius is equal to degrees Fahrenheit minus 32 times 5 over 9. Meaning, ang 5 over 9 dyan, kinuha yan siya sa comparison ng kanilang sizes sa kanilang thermometer. Okay? Now, if we want to convert Celsius to Fahrenheit, we just reverse it. We have degrees Fahrenheit is equal to 9 over 5 times degrees Celsius plus 32. Okay, so do not forget we are already done with this in the laboratory. Later, group 1, diba, we will have our quiz again. Yeah, we will have our quiz for this one. So do not forget our equation for the conversion of temperature. How about for the Kelvin? So according to experimental studies, when you say absolute zero on the Kelvin scale, so di ba absolute talaga wala nang bababa pa sa zero when it comes to Kelvin. However, according to the experiment they did, they found out that the zero scale in the Kelvin is actually equal to 273.158 degrees Celsius on the Celsius scale. That is the reason why when we want to convert Kelvin and Celsius, you have this formula. So Kelvin is equal to degrees Celsius plus 273.15 degrees Celsius times 1K divided by 1 degrees Celsius. But actually, we can actually omit this one. Pwede na natin itong gamitin. Kelvin is equal to degrees Celsius plus 273.15 degrees Celsius. So in the laboratory, I guess the one that is given in your handout is only 273. I mean, Kelvin is equal to degrees Celsius plus 273. And that is also accepted. Whether you use the whole number or you use 273.15, it's okay. Okay, it's okay for the calculation. Any questions so far about our temperature scale? Anyone who is confused or who did not understand the discussion? So, okay tayo. Let us continue. So, let's continue with our time measurement. Again, our SI unit. Again, SI unit for the time is seconds. However, that is also true for the metric system. Seconds gihapon na siya or second. Okay, parehas lang. Unlike the other base quantities that we have different units for the metric and the SI. Pag about sa time measurement, it's the same. Second lang, gihapon. So this was being measured using an atomic clock, and the atomic clock uses a frequency emitted by cesium atoms. That's how they knew the second, and that's how they measure second also. Again, they used an atomic clock that uses a frequency emitted by cesium atoms. Okay, so let us continue. We will now start with our discussion about scientific notations. So when you say scientific notation class, this is actually the method or the way wherein scientists handle very large or very small numbers. So for example, 0.00 daghan kaayo nga 0. So it will be easier for us actually to write it using scientific notation than to write the whole numbers, the whole numerical value. Daghan kaayo siya 0. So that is also true for very large numbers. So for the two, again, we apply the scientific notation. Now the format for scientific notation is n times, that's capital letter N, times 10 raised to the power of small letter n. Now, what is capital letter N? That's the base number. And the values can be between 1 to 9. Let me correct this. This is not 10. Instead, this is 9. Okay? Again, let me correct this. The capital letter N here can have values from 1 to 9 only. More than 9, that is already wrong when it comes to following the correct format of the scientific notation. Again, the values should be 1 to 9 for your capital letter N. And the small letter n is actually your exponent. So it can be positive or it can be negative as long as it is a whole number. Again, the exponent there, the small letter n, can be positive or negative as long as it is whole number. So let us have an example. For the width of a human hair, we have here the measurement. It's very small, 0.000008 meters. That's the width, that's the size of a human hair. And since it's a very small number, we can actually use scientific notation to express this. So how are we going to do that? Let me get my pen. Where is my pen? So how are we going to do that, class? Remember, in scientific notation, we will just move. Again, we will just move the decimal place. So how are we going to move that? We will move the decimal place in such a way that the capital letter N will be between 1 to 9. So just like this, if we move this, syempre we will be going to the right. So that it will, the base will become 1 to 9. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So kailangan andito na yung inyong decimal. If it is here now, the capital letter N will become 8. And then, idugtong lang natin ang times 10. And, okay, and pag madugtong na natin ang times 10, the exponent will be the, kung how many times we moved the decimal place. So, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is why we have 6 there. Now, how will we know if we will be using a positive integer or a negative 1? If it is going to the right, class, if the movement is going to the right because the original number is in decimal form, that will be negative. Okay? Negative na siya pag naka-decimal and we are moving to the right. But talking about large number, just like this one, 4,500,000. If we will express this one using scientific notation, take note that for large number, the decimal is most likely here. It's like trailing one, so nasa last siya. So if we move, we have to make sure, diba, that the capital letter N is between 1 to 9. So we'll move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We will not stop here because that's 45. That's beyond 1 to 9. And then here, 6. So pwede ka na mag-stop dito because that is 4.5 already. Pasok na siya sa 1 to 9. So this becomes now 4.5 times 10. And how many times did we move? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is 6 here. 4,500,000 seconds. Now, bakit siya positive? The movement is going to the right. Ay, sorry. To the left. Mute this first. Again, the movement is going to the left and the original number is very large. And if ano ni siya ha, positive ni siya if the movement is going to the left. And if it is going to the right, this is negative. Any question about the scientific notation? This is just a review. I believe in your high school, this was taught already. So you are very familiar now with scientific notations. Questions? Clarifications?
None, ma'am.
Okay. So let me ask you, is everyone here merong calculator? Sino dito yung walang scientific calculator? Okay.
Ako, ma'am.
So meron ditong walang scientific notation. Scientific calculator class. If you're a college student, scientific calculator is a must. So you are all required to buy one. Or if you cannot buy so far ha, kasi you cannot go out sa inyong mga balay, you can borrow if you have someone there na ay calculator. Or you can ask someone for you to buy a scientific calculator. But again, in college, a scientific calculator is a requirement. Requirement na siya. You will be using that one in our Chem101. And aside from the Chem101, you still have more pa na subjects that requires calculation. Thus, it needs a scientific calculator. Okay? It will be easier for us if meron kayo. Pag wala kasi kayo, mahihirapan kayo sa mga calculations natin. You will be doing mental math, or kung naamoy simple lang na calculator din ha, you can still do the calculation, pero it will be more difficult compared if you have a scientific calculator. So again, I will not require you any book, but I'll be requiring you a scientific calculator. So let's move on. We have here express 568.762 in scientific notation. So how are we going to do this? Can you try in any sheet of paper there, and you can send your answers sa chat. The first 5 will earn the points sa recitation today. I'll be recording this one. Asan ito ang list? The first 5 lang ha. Okay, so again, express this one in scientific notation. The first 5 na correct ang answer. Again, the first 5 na correct ang answer. So how are we going to move this? So this becomes now 5.6872 times 10 raised to the power of 2. We have here in between, in the middle, the decimal point. So if you are confused whether to move it to the right or to the left, always remember that capital letter N should be between 1 to 9. So you cannot move to the right because it will become larger. It will become beyond larger than 9, which is our supposedly the ceiling. So you have to move it to the left 1 and 2. So dito siya hanggang sa 5 point. Kasi 5 na siya, pasok na siya sa 1 to 9. So we only move 2 times here. So this becomes now 5.68762. Actually, we can add the 5 times 10 raised to the power of 2. Kasi again, dalawang beses tayo nag-move. And it's positive because again, ang akong instruction kagaina, if you are moving to the left, the exponent will be positive. So sino yung first 5 na tama ang answer? Bakit kayo nag-round off? Bakit kayo nag-round off, class? Bakit siya naging 5.7? Wala pa dili sa ta mag-round off ha, unless you are asked to round off the final answer. That's the time you round it off. Okay, so we have here Kara, and then ano mo nag-round off? We have Alikaba, 5.6. Oops, Alikaba is wrong. Di ay kay wala man dahil ni exponent. So let's have Dugo. And Puton. Duha na lang. T and Tingson. Okay. So take note ha, if there is no instruction na mag-round off, do not round it off. Just write all the numbers there. Okay. So let us continue. So note that the decimal point again is moved to the left by 2 places. Thus the exponent is 2 and it's negative kasi going to the left tayo. So number 2, first 5 also we'll have the recitation point this morning. Express 0.0000772 in scientific notation. Sorry, it's not negative pala sa number 1. May negative. Again, let me correct that one. Sa number 1, wala tayong negative. Murag na ingon na ito kung negative gain na. Kaya ako na-realize. Sige. So how are we going to express this one? Syempre, we will be moving the decimal point. Now, where should we go? Syempre, to the right para mahimo siya og 1 to 9 nga number. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this will be 7.72 times 10. Let me add the times here na siya. Instead of 3, this is times. Nabalik na siya og sulat. Times 10 raised to the power of negative 6. Again, 7.72 times 10 raised to the power of negative 6. We move the decimal point 6 times, and since we are moving to the right, the exponent should be in negative na form. So, sino yung tama ang sagot? We have 7.72 times 10 raised to the power of negative 6. That's Puton again. And then we have Aludaine. And then we have Susada. Duha na lang. We have T and Tahil. Okay. Ayan. So that's how you make the scientific notation. Questions so far about our scientific notation? Sino dito yung hindi pa marunong talaga mag scientific notation or may na-confuse pa? Wala? So I guess
Ako po, ma'am.
asa dapit imuhang dili masabtan, Henry? Wala? Anyone? Yes, Shane. Yeah, ngano na appeal ko sa first 5. First 5 ako ingon, 'di ba? So we have here Hazel. First 5 nag-direct message kasi yung iba sa akin, pero nauna sila. Mariam, Susada, T, and Tahil. That's the first 5. Okay, so please keep this in mind. We have here if the n is equal to 0, when I say small letter n, that's the exponent, right? Ayan. Again, if the exponent is equal to 0, yun yung ginamit nga number. Ang meaning ana class, ano na siya? Wala yun na siya exponent. Instead, the true value is kung unsa ang iyahang capital letter N. So just like the example, 74.6 times 10 raised to the power of 0, it is actually equivalent to 74.6. If makita ninyo na ha, pag ano na siya, 0 is actually used to express for numbers that are not expressed in scientific notation. So again, 74.6 times 10 raised to the power of 0. 0 here means hindi talaga ito siya included, and that the true value is 74.6. That is also true if you have 81.1 times 10 raised to the power of 0. The presence of 0 here means this is not really included. It is not really expressed in scientific notation. Thus, the true value here is still 81.1. So that's the meaning. If for example lang you encounter a scientific notation that has 0 as the exponent. And then, how about if the exponent is 1? You can actually omit the superscript, the exponent, when it is 1. So just like this one, 74.6. If 74.6 is expressed as like this, 74.6 times 10 raised to the power of 1, we can always omit the 1. We can just write this as 7.46 times 10. Wala na ang 1 class, diba? 74.6. If himuon nato siya, og scientific notation, diba, we will move the decimal point here kasi ang ato ang rule is dapat ang capital letter N kay 1 to 9 only. So this becomes now 7.46 times 10 raised to the power of 1. Kaya kaisa lang man ta nag-move. Pag 1 lang siya, pwede ra nato siya sulaton as like this one. Parehas lang na sila. We can always omit the 1 kasi automatic na siya class nga pag nakagibutang na times 10, 1 lang yun na iyahang ginamin. Unless na lang kung lahi nga number ang exponent. This is only applicable ha. Ang pag-omit sa exponent is only applicable if the exponent or the superscript is 1. Pero pag more than 1 na siya, you should always write the number in the exponent. Okay? So, let us move on sa ating arithmetic operations. Itong arithmetic operations, this is actually very convenient for those who have scientific calculator because you can just input the given in your cycle and then the cycle will give you the correct answer. But for those na walang scientific calculator, you will be doing this manually. And doing the manual computation is not very easy. So for those class, I'll be discussing this. For those na walang scientific calculator, let's talk about the addition and subtraction of given na naka-scientific notation. So we have here number 1, the rule to add or subtract using scientific notation. First, what are you going to do? First, write each quantity like the N1 and the N2. For example, natay duha ka given. So naatay N1 and naatay N2, and take note, kailangan the same ilahang exponent. Then, the next step is we combine N1 and N2 and that the exponents remain the same. So I'll give you an example. So again, katong mga walay cycle, please listen. Pero even if naamoy cycle, please also listen class because there will be times na sig wala mo'y cycle, di mo makagamit sa inyong cycle. So just like this one, let's have the first one. Tatlo ni siya ka-examples. Ayan. So let's have the first one para dili mo maglibog ato siyang i-rewrite. So the first given is 7.4 times 10 raised to the power of 3 plus 2.1 times 10 raised to the power of 3. If this is the given class, parehas sila og exponent, we can proceed directly to the computation. Okay, we can proceed directly to the computation. So how are we going to do this? First, add the capital letter N. Remember, ang capital letter N nato, mauni sila. Okay, mauna sila. Atong himuon, kay i-add lang na sila. So 4 plus 1 is 5. We have the decimal here. 7 plus 2 is 9. And then, kay parehas man silang exponent, we will just copy the exponent. That's how you add or even subtract numbers in scientific notation. We have to make sure that the exponents are the same and we will just either add or subtract the capital letter N. Nakuha to? Questions about this? Wala. So, number 2, let's have the number 2. For number 2, the givens are 4.31 times 10 raised to the power of 4 plus, this is again addition, 3.9 times 10 raised to the power of 3. Again, let me rewrite the 3 kay dili maklaro. Okay, so we have here 2 givens but they don't have the same exponent. Pag dili ganina the same ilang exponent, you cannot directly do the calculation. Again, in addition and subtraction, we have to make sure that the exponents are the same. So what are we going to do now? We have to adjust one of the given para magpareho sila og exponent. Again, i-adjust na to ang isa ka given para magpareho sila og exponent. So for example, as-is natin itong 4.31. I-as-is nato siya ha. Kay siya man ang dako, siya ang mas dako. So ang i-adjust nato class si 3.9 times 10 raised to the power of 3. Himuon nato siya og 4 sad ang iyahang exponent. So pag i-move nato na siya, pwede ra na nato himuon na regardless na if the capital letter N is 1 to 9. As long as our goal here, magpareho sila og exponent sa isa ka given. So pag i-move nato ni siya, inyong tandaan, this is positive, right? Pag mag-move ganita, if positive ang original na exponent, again, pag positive ang original na exponent, if we want to add a number, or example 3 to 4 man ni siya, so we will add 1, you have to move it to the left. The movement is to the left. But if we want to subtract from the given, from the original given, the movement is to the right. So again, balikan nato, our goal is make this as 4. Kailangan mahimo nato na siya 4. So mag-add man ta og 1 kay para mahimo siya 4. So our movement now is to the left. We will move this here. So this becomes now 0.39, or we can add 0 here, times 10 raised to the power of 4. That's how we make them similar or the same na exponent. So again, ang inyong tandaan, if mag-add ta, like this one, ang 3 himuon na to og 4, mag-add ta ana, we will move the exponent to the left. Okay? Pero pag mag-subtract ta, kung himuon nato ni for example og 2 instead of 3, then our movement should be going to the right. Take note that this rule is only applicable if the original exponent is positive. Okay? So parehas ani positive man siya. Therefore, we have now 0.39 times 10 raised to the power of 4. Again, kailangan sila pareho og exponent. Kaya pag pareho na sila exponent class, kopyahon lang man nato na ang exponent pag mag-add ta or mag-subtract. Dili man na siya appeal sa addition o subtraction. So pwede na ta mag-add. 9 plus 1 is 10, carry 1. 3 plus 3 is 6 plus 1, 7. Copy the decimal, and 4 plus 0 is 4. So this is now the final answer. 4.70 times 10 raised to the power of 4. Okay? Questions for the number 2? This is number 2 ha. Ang rules class sa addition ug subtraction pareho lang. Again, pareha lang sila na kailangan the same ang exponent. So let's have number 3 because this is an example of the subtraction. Let me erase this one. Tingog mo ha, og namoy wala na subtan. This is very easy if you have calculator. But if you don't have calculator, you really have to do the manual computation. So let's have the third one. The givens are 2.22 times 10 raised to the power of negative 2 minus, so this is subtraction here, minus 4.10 times 10 raised to the power of negative 3. So i-minus daw nato na class. 2.22 times 10 raised to the power of negative 2 minus 4.10 times 10 raised to the power of negative 3. So just like the second example, they don't have the same exponent, so we cannot directly do the computation. We have to adjust first one of the given para magkapareho sila og exponent. Okay? So in this case, since this one is larger, remember class, this one is larger ha. Kasi pag negative ang sign, di ba? The larger the exponent na negative ang sign, the lesser its value. So definitely, this one is larger. So as is nato ni siya, 2.22 times 10 raised to the power of negative 2. And we will adjust the second na given. So for the second na given, I'll just write it here sa baba. Sa second na given, you have again 2.22 times 10 raised to the power of negative 2. The original exponent is negative, so this one is not really applicable. This is only applicable for the positive exponents. Pero actually, when the original exponent is negative, ibaliktad lang nato na siya class. If gusto ta mag-add, example, himuon nato na siya 3 instead of 2, we will move the decimal to the right. Ibaliktad lang nato. But if we want to subtract, like ang 2 himuon nato og 1, then we will move the exponent to the left. Okay? So just like this one, negative 2. What is our goal? Ay, negative 3. Ay. Negative 3. Let me rewrite this. Ayan, this is negative 3. Our goal is to make it negative 2. So instead of negative 3, negative 2, meaning mag-subtract taog isa. And what is our rule? If we are doing subtraction sa exponent, our movement is going to the left. Going ta dito sa left. So if this is now the exponent, and kailangan nato siya mahimog negative 2, so isa lang ang i-move nato siya to the left. Therefore, ay, sorry. Mode ay, kaya mali di akong gisulat. Ang ato ada yung second nga given, 4.10 times 10 raised to the power of negative 3. Mode ni ato ang second nga given, mode na ato ang i-change. So ato ang goal, himuon siya og negative 2. So mag-subtract ta og isa. And pag mag-subtract ta, we will be moving the decimal to the left. So ibutang na to siya dinhi. So mahimo na siya 0.41 or 0.410, pwede ra pod, times 10 raised to the power of negative 2 na siya. Okay, pwede po nato siya butangan og 0 dinhi. Pwede na po nato i-appeal ang 0 kagaina kay 4.10 man siya. Nevertheless, this is now the adjusted given. So negative 2 na iyahang exponent. Pwede na nato siya gamiton sa operation. So 0.41. 41 na lang ha, kay duha ka decimal na lang man ang isa ka given. Para di na ta malibog. Times 10 raised to the power of negative 2. So when you subtract, just like sa addition, you just copy this times 10 raised to the power of negative 2, and ang atong ginasubtract lang kay kani mga capital letter n. So 2 minus 1 is 1. 2 minus 4, that cannot be. So let's sorry. Ano nato akong isulat? Let's borrow here. So this becomes 1. This becomes 12 here. So this is now 8. 12 minus 4 is 8. And then 1 minus 0 is 1. So this is now the final answer. 1.81 times 10 raised to the power of negative 2. Any question? Wala? Nasabtan?
Ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes po.
Ma'am, pagtan.
Paano siya sa cycle? Kung i-input ninyo siya sa cycle, let's have the first one, example 7.4. Let me clear the writings on the screen. Kung mag-input mo ani sa cycle, you just write 7.4, and then it will be better if you use the EXP. again, the EXP is found. Where is my cycle here? Let me get my cycle. Ayan. So sa inyong cycle, because I cannot show you my cycle, no? Wala gyapon may makita. Wala may makita. Okay. The EXP is found in the bottom, right after the decimal, or in between na siya sa decimal ug sa ANS, sa ANS. There are calculators na instead of EXP ang nakalagay sa kanila ay times 10 raised to the power of x. Pinduton ninyo na class. So 7.4, tapos pinduton ninyo ng either EXP or times 10 raised to the power of x, and isunod ninyo ang exponent. So you just write 3. And then plus sa calculator, and then i-input ninyo ang second nga given, 2.1. And then again, pindutan ninyo ang EXP or the times 10 raised to the power of x. And isunod na ninyo diretso ang exponent niya. And then equals. You will get this answer. Tell me if wala ninyo na nakuha nga answer. So kato mga na-cycle, please try it. Nakuha ninyo ang 9.5 times 10 raised to the power of 3. Yeah, ano na siya. Na mga scientific calculator na if the number is not really that large, it will not give you a scientific notation na answer. It will give you 9,500. But nevertheless, that is actually the same. Because if we will make 9,500 as scientific notation, remember the decimal is here. If we move this becomes 1, 2, 3. So this is 9.5 times 10 raised to the power of 3. Okay? Most of the time, wait lang. Pero ano ha, parehas lang na sila, 9.5 times 10 raised to the power of 3 or 9,500. But since our lesson is about scientific notation, most likely I will require an answer that is in scientific notation. So if your calculator gives you 9,500, you have to convert it to scientific notation para tama inyong answer. Now, most of the time, we adjust the second na given. Most of the time, we adjust the second na given. Pero you have to take note that most of the time also, we follow the exponent na mas dako ang value. So just like sa second na given, mas dako ang value sa 4 kaysa sa 3. So we adjust the 3 and let's make it 4. In this case also, actually, mas dako ang value sa negative 2 kaysa sa negative 3. This is applicable if negative ang sign mas dako ang, pag lesser ang number, mas dako iyahang value. So, mas dako ang value aning negative 2, mas gamay ang value sa negative 3. So, we adjust the negative 3. We always follow the one that has a larger value. Ang gamay nga value ang ato ang gina-adjust. Yeah, if direct mo lang siya ilagay sa calculator. Pag naka-cycle mo class, no need for adjustments. Dili na mo mag-adjust sa given. Input na ni siya diretsyo class sa calculator and it will give you the correct answer. So, itry ninyo ng second or third nga given. If you can also get the 4.70 times 10 raised to the power of 4 and 1.81 times 10 raised to the power of negative 2. You just try. Okay, 9,500 sad ang imuha. So, yeah, parehas lang na sila. Pwede rin mo siya himuon balik og scientific notation. No need po ba ng show your solution sa prelims? Actually, I don't know yet. I have not made the exam yet. Pero there will be times that I'll be requiring the solution. So pag i-require ang solution class, you have to do the adjustments. So that is the reason why ingon ko katong mga naay cycle, you also have to listen sa discussion sa manual computation. Kasi there will be cases na you cannot use the cycle. So you have to show your solution. Questions so far about the addition and the subtraction?
None po,
None,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. So take, sorry. Ipot na ko ang stop video. Anyway, this one is being recorded. So if you want to review, I'll be giving you again the link for the discussion. Let's move on sa ato ang multiplication and division. So for multiplication and division, we have here, multiply N1 and N2 in the usual way. I-multiply nato siya just like addition and subtraction. I-add ug subtract nato ang mga capital letter N. For multiplication and division, that's the same thing. Multiply N1 and N2 or divide N1 and N2 in the usual way. But for multiplication, add the exponents together. Pag division naman, that's the same thing. We divide the N1 and the N2 as usual, but the exponents are being subtracted. So let me give you an example. For number 1, we have the given 8.0. So 8.0 times 10 raised to the power of 4. Let me rewrite this. 8.0 times 10 raised to the power of 4. Times, this is multiplication, so 5.0 times 10 raised to the power of 2. In multiplication, we only multiply the n, the capital letter N. So this is now 8 times 5. So this is now 40, or we can write the 0.0 times 10. And then ang exponent class, no need na to adjust for this. Again, no need to adjust for the exponent because the exponents will be added. So 4 plus 2. This becomes 6. That's how you do the multiplication of the scientific notation. Again, 8 times 5 is 40, tapos times 10, the exponents will be added. 4 plus 2 is 6. So we have now here the answer. Let me rewrite the answer. On your screen, the answer is 40 or 40 times, pwede po na ito ibutang ang 0. 40.0 times 10 raised to the power of 6. Now, this is not the correct answer yet. Dili pa ni siya mao ang correct answer. This is where we adjust. We don't adjust the given, but the final answer class, sometimes we will be asked to adjust. Nga naman, what is our rule for scientific notation? The capital letter N should be 1 to 9. And this is 40. This is 40 class, so we should adjust. Again, we should adjust. So this is the decimal point here. We will be moving it to the left. Again, to the left para mahimo siya og 4. So 4 na siya karon, pwede siya 4.0 or 4.00 times 10 raised to the power of, unsa ganito ako ang giingon sa inyo hakagaina, pag positive ang exponent, ang original exponent, mag-add ta. Pag mag-add ta, we will be moving to the right.
Left,
Right po.
To the, sorry. Baliktad. To the left. Here, left dito. Okay. Mag-add ta, going to the left. Pag positive ang integer. Let me check ha. Ayan, mag-subtract ta if going to the right. I am talking about positive na exponent ha. So, unsa ato ang movement class? From here going to here, kaisa lang, that's going to the left. Again, that's going to the left, meaning mag-add ta. Kung sa atong i-add, kung kapila ta nag-move, i-add nato na siya diri sa exponent. So kaisa ra man ta nag-move, so 6 plus 1 is 7. So this becomes now the final answer, 4.0 times 10 raised to the power of 7. Questions? Do not forget our rule. Mag-add ta if the movement is going to the left. Mag-subtract ta if the movement is going to the right. This is applicable to positive na exponent. Okay? So let's have another one. This is example number 2 here. Let me rewrite it para mas dali siya masabtan. 4.0 times 10 raised to the power of negative 5 times 7.0 times 10 raised to the power of, this is positive, this is 3. Ayan. So positive na siya ang ikaduha. So unsa itong himuon, no adjustment sa given, we directly multiply the capital letter N. So 7 times 4 is 28, or you can write 28.0 times 10 raised to the power of, what are we going to do with the exponent? Diba ato siyang i-add. So karon
I-add.
mahimo na siya class og negative 5 plus 3. What is negative 5 plus 3?
Negative 2.
Negative 2.
Okay, negative
2 po.
2. Negative 2. So this becomes now negative 2. Nga na ha, basta multiplication. So our answer here is 28.0 times 10 raised to the power of negative 2. And then again, just like the first na example, we need to adjust the final answer. Kanus alang ta mag-adjust kapag ka beyond 1 to 9 ang iyahang capital letter N. Parehas ani, 28.0. Sobra na siya sa 9. So kailangan nato siya i-adjust. So this is negative here. Remember, pag negative atong exponent, baliktad na siya og rule. Mag-add ta if going to the right.
Right.
And mag-subtract ta if going to the left.
Left.
Baliktad lang ninyo ni siya, class, ha? So just like this one, we will be moving it. Himuon dapat nato siya og between 1 to 9. So para mahimo siya 1 to 9, mag-move na pud tag decimal. So mahimo na siya dinhi. Og 2.8 or 2.80, that's the same thing, times 10. And what happened now to our exponent? Asa atong movement going to the left. So pag going to the left, sa mahitabo, mag-subtract ta sa ato ang exponent. So kapila ta nag-move ka isa, meaning mag-subtract ta og 1 dinhi. Which means our exponent now becomes negative 1. So this is now the final answer, 2.8 or 2.80 times 10 raised to the power of negative 1. We write 1 ha kasi naamang good siya yung negative. Pwede rin natin natanggalon ang 1 kung positive na siya. Okay? So 2.80 times 10 raised to the power of negative 1. Any question about some multiplication?
None, ma'am.
Okay.
And ma'am.
Sige, so let us have an example for the division. Okay? Sa division, this is how we do it. So we have the first example here. This one is the first example. And this one is the second one. So what are we going to do? We have 6.9. Excuse me there. We have 6.9 times 10 raised to the power of 7 divided by 3.0 times 10 raised to the power of negative 5. Ang himuon ani class, kanilang ang i-divide. Kanilang ha, ang mga capital letter N lang. So, you have your calculator there. Lisod no kung manual computation pa nato na, please use your calculator, or kung namoy dili cycle din ha, kanang ordinary calculator lang, pwede ra pud na ninyo gamiton So, i-divide nato na siya class. 6.9 divided by 3.0 is 2.3. So, this one, 2.3. And then, times 10. Now, what happened to the exponent? So, lahi ni sila sa multiplication ha. Sa multiplication, ato-ato siyang gi-add. Pero pag abot class sa division, ato ang i-subtract ang exponent. So, kung nakita ninyo sa screen, 7, kay 7 man ang first nga given, minus the second given is negative 5. So, sa inyuhang mathematics, you have learned this one sa inyuhang high school. Pag ingana gani, 7 minus negative 5, di ba? Ang si mahitabuan ni? Mahimo ni siya
Add
o
po.
Addition,
Himog
ma'am.
addition, ma'am.
himog addition. Very good. So, mahimo niya siya addition and this becomes positive also. So, 7 plus 5 is 12. So, that is the reason why the exponent becomes 12. This is now the final answer. No need for adjustment, both sa given and also sa final answer kay this is already 2.3. Pasok na siya sa 1 to 9. Okay, that's how you do it for division, for the division of scientific notations. Ang i-divide lang katong mga capital letter N and then times 10, ang exponent plus kay i-subtract. So, gihimo lang to siyang addition kay 7 manggod minus negative 5. Oops. Okay. So, let's have the second one. For the second example, we have it here. 8.5 times 10 raised to the power of 4 divided by 5.0 times 10 raised to the power of 9. So, sa buhaton, i-divide nato ni sila. So, 8.5, you can use your calculator or your simple ordinary calculator din ha. 8.5 divided by 5.0 is 1.7. So, this is correct. Times 10. And what are we going to do with the exponent? We have 4 minus 9. So, 4 minus 9 is syempre negative
Negative 5.
5. So this is already correct. No need for adjustment again because this is 1.7. Pasok na siya sa 1 to 9. So always remember ha, mauna ang naa sa taas. Muna 4 and then minus naa sa baba. Just like this same, that is also true for the first given. Mauna gid ang naa sa taas class. 7 minus negative 5. So, maula na ang kalahian sa multiplication o division. Sa multiplication, i-add nato ang exponent, i-multiply nato ning mga n. Pag abot sa division, i-divide nato ang n, and i-minus nato, i-subtract nato ang exponents. Okay, questions?
None po.
None po, ma'am.
Okay. So, let's have an example. Sige daw, itry ninyo din ha. Okay. Kung na-apply ba, this is addition ha, 4.51 times 10 raised to the power of 5 plus 3.88 times 10 raised to the power of 3. It will be good if you will be doing the manual computation para maanad mo na sa mga cases na mag-require og solusyon kabalo mo unsay buhaton. Okay? I'll be waiting for your answers. Nalahilag mo answer. Sige daw, let's see kung kinsay tama. This is addition ha. Kasi himuon sa addition class, the first thing to look at is their exponent, kung pareho ba. So kung dili pareho, di ba mag-adjust ta? Again, kung dili pareho, mag-adjust ta. So just like this one, 5 and 3. Dili man na sila pareho, so mag-adjust jud ta class. Kasi buhato na to. We can have the 4.51 kasi di ba ingon ko sa inyo most of the time as is ang mas dako nga given. So ang ato ang i-adjust kay ang 3.88 times 10 raised to the power of 3. So, paano na to na siya i-adjust? 3.88 times 10 raised to the power of 3. Ang ato ang goal kay mahimo ni siya og 5. So, sa positive class nga sa positive na exponent, kung gusto ta mag-add, og 2 para mahimo na siya 5. Asa dapat atong movement? To the right or to the left?
To the left, ma'am. To the
The
left,
left.
ma'am.
To the left. So padulong didto. Therefore, kaning decimal, mag-move ta og duha kay para mahimo na siya og 5. So 1, 2. So nana na diri ang decimal. Butangan lang natog 0 sa tunga. Yes, Johanna, you have questions?
Mag-answer, ma'am.
Ay, mag-answer ka. Sige, wait lang. We have, isend na lang na inyong answer sa chat. We have,
Ma'am, excuse me po.
yes, Lindsay.
Ba't po to yung movement?
2, nganong 2 kasi 'di ba ang 3 himuon man nato og 5. So 3 plus 2, 'di ba 5? So mo na nga.
Okay po.
Okay. So this becomes now class 0. Pwede na nato butangan og 0 ha. 0.0388 times 10 raised to the power of 5. So mo na karon atong number. Ibutang nato na siya diri 0.00. Let me adjust class kay para magtupong sila. 0. Isa lang may ka 0. Sorry. Ayan. 0.0388 times 10 raised to the power of 5. Kani times 10 raised to the power of 5. So sa addition, sa kung ingon, itupong nato ni sila, kopyahon lang nato ning ato ang exponent times 10 raised to the power of 5. And ang i-add lang nato kay kaninga part. So, this is 8. Wala man ni siya diri, 0 man ni siya. This is also 8. 1 plus 3 is 4. 5 plus 0 is 5. Decimal, diri sa tunga. And 4 plus 0 is 4. So this is now the final answer. 4.5488 times 10 raised to the power of 5. So, no need to adjust. Nga naman, ang iyahang capital letter N kay between 1 to 9 naman. 4.5488 times 10 raised to the power of 5. So let me see. Anyway, this is being recorded. The chat is being sent sa Aqua after. So I still have a copy of your answers. So we have here 4.5488. Pwede na panibutang ang 0 sa last times 10 raised to the power 5. Correct? So ang katong mga mali ang answer, what happened? Na yung mga tama na apoy mali. Unsay nahitabuan ni? Nakita ninyo asa mo nagmali, no? I hope nakita ninyo asa mo nagmali.
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Sige. Sa right nag-move. Ganun mo sa right nag-move. Aray. Please follow the rules I have given sa inyo, ha? You have a copy of that rule, right? So, para di mo maglibog o asa mo mag-move. So, let me give you another example. Unsa dili accepted ang unsa ENG notation? English
Kanang engineering notation, good ma'am, like, parahaan yung 4.88 times 10 raised to 5. Ganyan, good ma'am.
Our rule is 1 to 9 lang yun, so you have to adjust. You have to adjust, okay? 1 to 9 lang yun atong rule, anak. Dahil lang ha nag-isip sa ako. Okay, so you try doing this. 1.56 times 10 raised to the power of negative 3 minus 2.62 times 10 raised to the power of negative 5. Gamit ni calculator ang mga paspas kayo nag-send, no? The answer. Let us wait for the others. Okay. Let's see. Lahi-lahi man sila mag-answer. So, oras na. Okay. So we have 1.56 times 10 raised to the power of negative 3 minus 2.62 times 10 raised to the power of negative 5. Let's have the 1.56 times 10 raised to the power of 3 na as is. And ato ang i-adjust si 2.62 times 10 raised to the power of negative 5. So let me rewrite it. 2.62 times 10 raised to the power of negative 5. Our goal, class, is to make it as negative
3.
negative 3. So what is our rule for negative na exponent?
Move to the
Move
left.
to the right.
Move to the
Move to the
left
left po.
Pag mag-add ta, move to the right. Pero pag mag-subtract ta, move to the left.
Left.
Okay, negative 5 man ni. Himon man na to siya negative 3. So mag-subtract ta og duha, meaning sa left ta padulong. So 1 and 2. Duha lang no kay 5 minus 3 is 2 man. So this becomes now the decimal and then butangan na to siya 0 sa tunga. Therefore, the adjusted here is 0. Butangan na to siya 0 sa first. So 0.0262 times 10 raised to the power of negative 3. So, atuan na siyang isulat diri. 0.0262 times 10 raised to the power of negative 3. Let me adjust the first given para magpantay sila. Ayan. So, times 10 raised to the power of negative 3. And sa subtraction, parehas lang sila sa addition class na, ayan, kopyahon ang exponent. And then, isubtract ang mga capital letters. So, butangan natin siya 0 dinhi para mas dali. So, 0 minus 2. Kanat B man na siya, diba? So, this becomes 5. This becomes 9. And this is 10. So, 10 minus 2 is 8. 9 minus 6 is 3. 5 minus 2 is 3. 5 minus 0 is 5. And 1 minus 0 is 1. So this is now the correct answer. 1.5338 times 10 raised to the power of negative 3. So no need to adjust the final answer kasi napasok na siya sa 1 to 9. So tama ning mga nag-answer din hi. Okay. Naalay mali. What happened? 5 point.
I forgot to put the negative, ma'am, sa 3 po. Biglaan ko nalagay.
Okay, sige. So I hope nakita po nimo kung kaning mga mali og gisend dinhi. Ayan. Nakita ninyo asa mo nagmali. So I think it's 8:56. I will end here. We will continue our discussion tomorrow. So I might or I might not give a quiz tomorrow, class. So prepare. Again, please prepare. I might or I might not give a quiz. Depende pa. Tapos, I will be uploading an assignment later. So please look at your Schoology also. But definitely, dili po na siya tomorrow i-submit. I'll give you more time. Pero ano lang, i-check ninyo inyong Schoology kay again, maghatag po og assignment. Questions before tamag-end?
None po.
Okay.
None po, ma'am.
Sige, so I think that ends our class this morning. It's already 8:57. You can log out sa conference na para dili mo malate sa inyong next class. Okay? Bye! See you tomorrow!
Thank you, ma'am.